What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today I'm back to talk to you about Warhammer 40k. A few days ago, I posted some videos on my armies and how they fared in Ninth Edition. I talked about the Grey Knights, Chaos Space Marines, and the Tau, and I thought I was going to leave it at that, but you guys seem to enjoy it, so I think I'm going to keep it going. I don't know exactly for how long, but as you can see in the thumbnail, today we're going to be talking about the Aeldari. So the Eldari is an army that I picked up very recently, about a few months ago. However, I got halfway through building them and then I stopped. So I stopped because 9th edition arrived. And I already played 3 armies and I thought I need to learn a whole new edition and adapt the army's tactics to fit the changes of this edition. And I thought adding another army to this would just be too much. Like, I really need to focus on these 3, kind of hone in on what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. And I don't have the time to be trying to learn the Eldari. I've never played the Eldar. I've always wanted to play them. I actually bought the Apocalypse set that comes with a whole bunch of Wraith units. I love Wraith units. They look awesome, they're strong, they're durable, not very quick. But I wanted to play an army that I've always had in the back of my mind, and that was Wraiths supplemented by the Shining Spears. So that seemed to work in my mind because Shining Spears are quick and they hit hard, while Wraiths are tanky, and depending on what loadouts they have, they can hit very hard. So I'm in a predicament. So this video I'm going to be talking about how I perceive the Eldar are currently in 9th edition. Like I said, I've never played them currently, but I think I have a feel for how the army is. So I know you guys watching, you probably have more experience with the Eldar, whether it's playing them or playing against them. So if you see any hiccups that I might have missed or anything I got incorrect, go ahead and fix what I said in the comments below. Also, if you have any other tips, tricks, or anything that you notice should be noted, again, write it down in the comments. I really need your support on this one. So without further ado, let's start with the elephant in the room, and that is the sculpts for the Eldar. So the Eldar, the Dark Eldar, Harlequins, the Inari, Craft Worlds, Exodites, whatever it is you want to call them or what faction you want to pick, there's no mistaking that the Eldar have probably the shittiest sculpts, because they are one of the older factions, and a lot of their units, they're not even in plastic. Some of them are resin, that fine cast stuff. Others, believe it or not, are still metal. And that is something that GW should definitely be taking care of sooner more than later, because we've seen all these nice new sculpts for Primaris Marines. I mean, look at the Indomitus box. Every single Primaris Marine is a new sculpt. And of course, the Marine players, they get all the fancy nice things. But what about the Elder players? Recently, I think that's the recent thing, was the Banshees that got shifted over to plastic. So now you can play Howling Banshees, and you don't have to mess with freaking fine cast or metal models. But what about the rest of them? Fire Drakes, Striking Scorpions. Like, there's a lot of models that really need help and support. The Wraith Seer, which is essentially a Farseer, more specifically tailored towards Wraith units, can take a D-Scythe, and there's no sculpt for it. Now, I know if you're playing in tournaments and whatnot, you have to have the model be WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get, but you can't take this model because there's no model for it. So that's another predicament. Like, these models are old, they're pretty bad looking. You can't really find them that easy. So how do you expect players to bring these units to like 40k tournaments when your rules don't allow it and you kind of don't really support it, GW? Like, that's my question. So yes, the Eldar line for sure needs a huge revamp. Huge. Like, I don't even want to get started what models look ugly because there's too many to count. The newer ones, like the Wraith Knights, Those look pretty okay. Wraith Lords, I'm glad they got an update because they looked like eggs back in the day. Like freaking Humpty Dumptys with legs and arms and weapons. But yeah, they got a huge revamp. So I am liking that. Shining Spears, they seem to be kind of hard to find. So again, new box sets. I hope with this whole FAQ that comes out, that's supposed to be changing a few weapon profiles and whatnot. Hopefully that addresses the Xeno stuff as well, because for sure we're getting Space Marines to 2 wounds, Terminators to 3 wounds, Heavy Bolters dealing 2 damage, Flamers getting a buff to their range, Multi-Meltas, or what's it, Meltas? But this is all stuff that like the Imperium has, and Chaos. So, how is that going to affect our Xeno playing characters? Because like when you think about it, the Harlequins have like 4 Harlequin specific models, and that's it. Everything else has to be borrowed from the Aeldari. They definitely need more models, period. And the Eldar, they're cool and all. Like I think they're set once everything gets updated. But like if you want to play Exodites, you have to convert heavily because Exodites are like some off like planets that have like dinosaurs in there, and like they ride pterodactyls and stuff like that. So that could be really cool. It's pretty easy to convert them. Just buy the Lizardmen models and take off like the actual Lizardmen and put your Eldar riding atop like, I don't know, Stegodons or whatever it is they got. So that's an easier way to convert Exodites. But still though, like, I mean, Dark Eldar, we got a player in the group who plays Dark Eldar, and I think they're pretty good. Out of all the Eldar, I think they're the ones that have like a good identity. They got a box set released that has like some Dark Eldar models in there. So I think they're doing good, but still not to the point where an army needs to be. Which kind of sucks because like GW has a lot of armies to kind of supplement and whatnot, and they're just focusing heavy on Space Marines, which obviously, yeah, that's how they make money. That's the most popular race or faction, but for the most part, like, come on, like, we want to see new models. So let's move on. That was the ugly part, or the resculpt part. Let's move on to the good stuff about the Eldar before we finish on another sour note. So 9th edition changed drastically by reducing the table sizes, upping up points, and making it a more objective-based game. With that being said, I think the Eldar are going to do great. They're quick, they're durable, well, besides the regular models. Wraithguard are durable, so you can put some Wraithguard in a Serpent, move it up the field, and just basically camp on an objective, racking up points throughout the whole game. You could play Shining Spears or Wind Riders and just move them up on the board wherever it is they need to be. You could easily take all the quarters and get your points that way. And also, on the plus side is that they're psychers, and they're one of the best psychic armies in the game. Unfortunately, there is a secondary objective that can mitigate that. So for every psyker the opponent kills, it gives them points, and that's how they can rack up those 15 secondary objective points pretty easily if you focus heavy on like Farseers and whatnot. But you definitely need to bring in psychic support, because that's where the Eldar shine. They have a bunch of kits or tools in their kit to really make the army go above and beyond. However, I don't think that's enough to compensate for just how lackluster the line for the Eldar are. For the most part, everything is overcosted and underperforming compared to the Space Marines. Space Marines do it better and at a cheaper point cost, which sucks to hear, but that's kind of the whole thing. Like, if you're playing against an experienced Space Marine player, especially Iron Hands or Salamanders, you're pretty much guaranteed to lose, and it's just the way that the game is right now. Hopefully when the codices start dropping, we'll see things become more even, but definitely right now Space Marines are the army to be playing, because you're going to be doing the best in pretty much every aspect of 9th edition. Yeah, that turned negative really quick. But yeah, the plus sides of the Eldar are you're fast, you're mobile, you can have some pretty durable units, and you've got psychic powers supplementing your army. Now, continuing on with the negatives, stuff that got nerfed is that, like I was saying, the secondary objectives that focus on killing psychers, that's going to hurt, because that's going to make sure that the opponent focuses on taking down your support system. And once you have no psychers to supplement your army, things are quickly going to go downhill for you. Again, I was saying, like, the points, they don't really stack up to Space Marines, and it's just not a great time to be playing Eldar. So again, this is where I need your guys' help, your support. Let me know what ways to mitigate this. How would you play an Eldar force and keep it competitive and fun? Because that's another thing too, because 40k is not just about winning, but winning is part of 40k. So again, guys, let me know what tips, what tricks. Should you be playing Yvrain? Should you leave the avatars of the Incarn and Kane at home and just bring a very spammy list? Because I do know the Dark Reapers are probably their best unit, point for point, pound for pound. So let me know what you guys are planning on doing to combat the heresy of Space Marines being overpowered. And also let me know, is my list of Wraith units, Shining Spears, and Farseers good? Should I focus more on just spamming Guardians? Because there are pretty good stratagems that support Guardians. But yeah, that's all I got for today's video. Sorry it couldn't be a little bit more helpful, but it's just things to be aware of, that if you're playing Eldar, you're gonna be the underdog. But we'll wait and see if that changes anytime soon. As always, guys, this has been the Sound Alchemist. I look forward to reading your comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation. I knew I